Hi everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to walk through a new thing that I've been playing with, which is my own digital papers on my iPad Pro. I've been playing with drawings, so on my other YouTube videos I do little things like quickie sketches, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to walk you through how I might make a sheet of paper with a quickie sketch. So this video might be a little longer than my usual videos, but I wanted to walk you through how I make some of these papers here. So they're for my own use right now. One day maybe I could do digital kits. I have much to learn, but right now I'm having fun creating papers for myself using my own drawings. And so here's an example of a sheet I designed, and this is it blown up and printed. And I'm learning how color saturations really show up differently on screens and on printers. But I'm quite happy and thrilled with the overall results of the paper. So much that I decided to make a little booklet with it, playing with papers as well. The same paper, and I printed it out and wrapped it around a piece of, what's that thing called? Like a, I don't know what it's called, a file folder. And then I just decorated it and built it into a little junk journal. So again, my own pieces of paper. So let's have a look, and I'll show you how I start. So usually I start with some sort of color palette or theme. In this case, it's birds. I'm working on a bird one. And I've done a few different papers. I'm gonna bring you in just a little bit. Hopefully you can see a little better my little primitive setup. So I've been playing with different drawings and different sketches, different layouts. So what I wanted to do today was walk you through, once you've got a couple of designs going, how nice it is to move these components over to a new page. So I'm going to hit the plus button, and I'm going to take an 11 by 8.5 paper. Now, I'm pretty new to Procreate. Every time I use it, I'm learning something new. So if you're familiar with Procreate, then you probably know more shortcuts than I'll show today. But if you're new like me, then you're going to have fun following along, or maybe give you some ideas on how to create some papers. So I just went, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So I go back to my gallery and I'll go to, let's say, a page that I've already made. And I will click on the layers button and I'll grab the background. So each one is a layer of different images that I've put on this paper, and I leave them separate. I don't merge them together. That way I can reuse them. So I'm going to hit the copy button, and then I'm going to go back to my gallery and back to my new page. And I'm going to put my 3 fingers down. I'm going to hit paste. And that incorporates the background I've just imported. So it keeps the packaging and the idea behind the papers cohesive, because I'm reusing the same elements from page to page. I'll introduce new ones, but I think it's really fun to reuse these ones. So I'm going to also go here and grab the other background image, which is kind of a washed out like wood board. And these were built, I just took them and drew them and played with them some more. So you can see how this one is, and I washed it out. So I didn't want to get into all that detail today. You can play with that on your own and manipulate it on your own. And then what I wanted to show today was how I build these papers from layers. So I'm going to go back in. I'm going to grab one more element just to make some more texture on this paper. So let's maybe take the background again on this one. I like this washed out swirly thing that I drew. Swirly thing, very professional. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to move it over to my new book. I'm going to hit another layer, and I'm going to 3 fingers down and paste. And there it is there, and it can be moved and manipulated. So maybe I'll make this one a little smaller. And one of the things I learned how to do, which was really fun, is you hit this select tool here, and you go freehand, for example. Make sure your color fill is off. Go to the little wand, So these have very specific proper names. And then I hit hue, saturation, and brightness, and I hit layer. And then I can make this kind of bright. I can darken it. I can do, I can change the color of it. So I'm learning a lot as I go here. So what I want to do now is another option is you go into the layer itself and you hit this N, and you can change the opacity, which I like to do. I don't know if you can see it here, but there it is, full. And then if you pull it down, it thins it out a little bit and makes it a little bit more transparent, which I really like. I like that. It kind of gives it more of a watermark look, which I like, because then it's not, we can make the bird that we're going to draw next a little bit more of the focal point. So let's do that now. So I'm going to, again, create a layer, and I'm always creating layers. That way I can manipulate them, and if I want to merge them, I can, but I can remove it. Like, for example, if when we go to draw the bird, I can take all this off and have a clean screen to see what I'm drawing. So that's why I love the layers. All right, so let's go into insert photo, and I have some photos here, and let's take the little sparrow. So here's the sparrow, and why I do that is I like to have a reference while I'm drawing. It just makes things a little bit easier for me. So I'm gonna put him there so I can see him, and then I'm gonna go into another layer so that I can delete this layer when I'm done. And we're gonna go into the drawing tool, and I'm gonna do sketching, and I'm gonna go HB, and now I'm happy with that, and I'm gonna go into a black color palette. So now I'm gonna just turn it a little bit so that it's a little easier on my wrist, and then we're gonna sketch him out. So I like to sketch him big because I can change and manipulate it. I'm gonna try and keep my hand out of the way here. So if you see, this works like an actual pencil. So if I'm on an angle with the brush, it has that kind of soft pencil look. And if I'm up top, tight like that, it gives me a dark pencil look, like a very specific line, which is, you know, really clever, I think. It gives you the real feel that you're actually drawing. So hopefully my hand isn't in the way when I'm drawing here, but I do need to hold it up a little bit. So I'm going to start with his beak, and like all my quickie sketches, I just do them nice and quick and rough. And what's great about this program is you can just use the eraser and make any corrections you want. So I'm going to draw his beak in here. And this selection of paper that I did, that I'm working on, I would really like to keep it very sketchy looking. So I don't want super hyper realism. I want that sketched look in my journal. Almost like a sketch pad in my journal is what I'm after. That's the look I'm after. But I mean, you can do any look you want. So we draw his beak here a little bit. And then he's got a throat and a belly. And again, any adjustments I want to make, I can make after. Right now, I just want to try and capture his form. Nice and loose. His tail. So if you're sketching along with me, you can slow me down, or you can pause it. Whatever you want to do. Hopefully you're giving this a go, because this program is just so much fun for scrapbooking or journaling or whatever it is that you might be into, or even just, you know, drawing your own work. It's a whole new medium to play with, and it's a lot of fun. So now I like to just drop colors in. So go into my menu and I'll grab a brown. I'll take that brown and I'll put it in there. So if these images, like these shapes, are not closed, then the whole sheet will turn. Like this one I can tell is open. So if I drop it in here, my whole sheet's going to go that color. Hit the undo button. So you just want to make sure you close the line there. And then, oops, and then you can fill it. So where else is he? He's brown here. It's brown on his tail. And so like I said, I'm just learning this as I go myself. And every time I try something new, I learn something new, which is so much fun. A little bit darker. Okay, so let's go to a gray, and we're going to change the brush now to color him in a little bit. I like the inking brush. You're going to find the more you use this program, you're going to find your favorites. You're going to find ones that you instantly love and ones that you're not so sure of. You're going to learn how to manipulate these brushes to work best for you. You want a watercolor look. There's all kinds of different tools in here. Apparently you can buy additional brushes as well, like kits that you can download that will give you a very specific look. So lots of fun here. So why I like this inking is you can see it's kind of got a thin, transparent feel, and then if you go over it again, it makes the color more opaque. And so it gives it a real ink look and kind of gives you a little bit more flexibility on where you put these colors, and you can change them after. Make them thicker or thinner. So you can see it sits over top of the brown, and if you go over it again, it goes more gray, which I love. So I'm going to go into the eraser now, and I'm going to make sure it's fully opaque and very small, and I want to clean up his beak area a little bit. I'm not too big on how I drew that. So you can see how nice this tool is, like, boom, you just erase it and fix it. How fun is that? Can't do that with paper. Trust me, I've tried. I'm just going to clean up his back a little here. So if you've made, if you've made things too big, you know, you just take the eraser and shrink them down. And if you're having a hard time seeing them, you just take these background layers off. Oops, not that one, this one. Oh, no, I want them gone. There we go. And now we're just into the white, so he's a little bit easier to see. Oops. All right, so maybe we'll give him a little bit of different color here. So I'm going to go back into this warm brown and throw some of that in. And again, very loose. I'm going to move him a little bit. So I'm going to make sure the layer's selected, and then I can move the layer because I'm running out of room over here. Okay, and then we'll go back. Draw a little bit more, throw in a little bit more of this brown, more of the dark brown, kind of get these shapes here captured with the right tones and colors. But again, not tons of detail, just putting in those simple shapes. And then we can play with it more after. Okay, I like to go to the white now. And I'll start putting in, whoops, I want to change the brush. Gotta remember to do that. So I'm gonna go back to sketching in my HB. And I wanna start putting in that real sketchy look. So I'm just gonna throw in the feathers here. So when you're drawing any feathers, fur, hair, you always wanna pay attention to the direction that they grow. And if you can observe that while you're drawing, your images will be much more realistic and three-dimensional than if you were to just color him like this, straight up and down. So the feathers grow this way, and so you want to draw them that way. And I just hit the undo here. So that's a good little tip when it comes to learning to sketch, is observation really is key to drawing. Take your time and really look at what it is you're drawing. And that's why I have the reference right here beside me, so I can see really well how his feathers grow. So again, my look is sketchy. That's what I'm after. But you can smooth these out by playing with the smudging tool, which is a tool I love to use. And I'll show you the effect really quick here. I'll do it right here. So you use this tool, smudging tool, and you can adjust the size of it, and you can adjust the opaqueness of it, and you can also adjust the type of brush you want. So when I do it, I usually use the airbrush and the soft brush, and I just move the colors together here, and you can see how it softens everything out. So it's a really great tool for that like colored in pencil crayon look. But today I want to do sketchy. So I'm just going to throw in some feathers here. And I'm going to go into a dark gray. So I hit my gray, and you can see the color wheel comes up, and this is a red toned gray. So I'm going to move into like a darker gray, which has got a touch of what I would call purple, because it's got some red in there. And I'm just going to give him some darker feathers. Again, nice and loose. Just having fun, not stressing about it. Anything you don't like, you can just simply undo. So there's really no need to be afraid to use this program. Just dive right into it. And like I said, every time you do, you're going to learn something new, something fun, something you like, something you don't like, tools that you think, oh, I can use that another time. That would be a great application for another thing I want to do. And you kind of add it to your repertoire. And you slowly build up the knowledge of this program. And your drawings get better and better. Go back into the black now. Darken up this patch around here. So this little sparrow we're doing. Again, nice and loose. Try to capture that patch of feathers here. A little bit in his chest. Nice, and just scribbling away. A little black in the back of his wings here. A little bit underneath. Darken up here a little bit because I'm going to hit it with some white after. Throw a little bit of contrasting black in here. And you can move this big and small however you want. So I'm just going to move it a little bit more because it's a little bit hard on my wrist on that ankle. All right. So I'll go back to the white now. Throw in just a little bit more here. It's got a nice little white patch back here. And a fold on his neck where his neck meets his chest. It's a bit of a highlight. A highlight on the rear feathers here, the folding feather by the wings, underbelly. Put a little feather indication along his belly here. Not too much, just enough. And this program really does feel like you're drawing like with a pencil. It takes a little getting used to drawing on the glass surface because it's slippery. So all it is practice. But if you're into trying a new medium or you want to draw, this is a great way to learn to draw too, because like I said, it's very forgiving. If you make a mistake, you just hit that eraser button. And if you're doing it on paper, for example, you can't. You can only erase so much. So this is a nice little tool to start learning to draw on as well. So we'll do that, and I'd like to put a little bit more highlight around his eyes. So I'm going to go back to that lighter gray, and I'm going to play with that around his eye here. And go back to the black because I want to clean this up. Make sure his eye is round. And if you can't draw a circle like me, all you do is in this program is you draw a circle and you hold it, and then you get a circle. Ta-da! So another great way. Another nice little tool. And I learned that by mistake, by drawing on something, and it did it for me. And then now I know I can use that tool when I want a circle or sphere or anything like that. And they've got some great little tutorial videos by different artists on how to use this program as well. And they've been using it for a long time, so they have a lot of great little shortcuts. So every now and then when I try to think, oh, I want to do this, what's the best way to do it, I'll YouTube it myself. And let's see the shortcut and how to do what I want to do. So I'm just going to do just a quick little indication of feet here. And we'll play with those after we figure out where we're going to sit him. I think he needs just a little bit more of a highlight here in the yellowy orange, just warm him up a bit. Just gonna put a little bit in here. I'm gonna throw a little yellow in his beak too. So we'll go back to the orange. We'll move this guy over to the yellow and maybe a little bit brighter there. Throw that in. Put a little bit of that in his wing for some fun. Throw a little in his belly here. So I press really light on the brush. It gives me a very different pencil look, but still using the same tool. So you can even get quite a bit of range out of each of those tools just by how you press on the glass. I'll go back to that gray. I think I'll put a little bit more gray in here. Tone his beak down just a little bit. And if it's too rough, you can just smudge it out. Go back to the black. Put his little mouth indication. His beak actually opens. Back to the white. Throw that in. I think that's good. Good example of how to draw. So let's play with it now. So I'm going to spin it back. I'm going to now delete my visual here, my record, reference. So I just slide it over and I hit delete, so I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to bring my backgrounds back on. And now you can see I have a little beginning of the paper. So now you can really have fun with it. You can play with it. You can draw sticks. You can draw a branch that he's sitting on. What I like to play is how the layers appear. So if I find he's a little bit too bold, I can, other than turning him a little bit more opaque himself, which you can do as I showed you before, you can move him underneath these layers so that other backgrounds sit on top of him. So now you can see that that swirly bit is now over top of him. And it just adds another layer of interest, right? It's given it another element of texture, but he's still very present and still very much the focal point. Now you can select the layer and hit the select button up here, and you can manipulate the size of him as well. You can also, what I like to do is copy it. So I select the layer again. I like to use my 3 fingers. I pull down on a menu. So you slide your 3 fingers down and the copy and paste menu comes up. So you hit copy. And then I like to make sure there's a new layer. And then I hit paste. And there he is. So there's the other one. And then you can play with these buttons down here. So you can flip him. You can rotate him horizontal. You can, do mirror images and draw a heart around them. You can distort it. Oops, sorry, that's the 45. So there's the 45. You can also distort it, which is kind of interesting. I don't think it would work too well on the bird, but if you had, say, something like this image here and you wanted to distort it, that would be really neat. So let's just undo that because I'm not exactly sure where he sat there. So let's just do copy again and paste. So again, let's flip him this way and let's move him down this side of the paper and we can shrink him right up. So there's an idea of how to make your own papers, and you can keep going and going. And then when you go to print, for example, we'll go back to one of my other papers. So if you say, what's a good example here? Let's use this one. So this is the paper here. And so let's say you wanted to print this full paper, and then you can go back and you can turn layers off. So maybe this time you don't want the branch and the bird. So we'll take the branches and bird off. Where are they? Here they are. So we take these off. And I think that's it. And now you have a different paper. It's very similar, but you have now another sheet you can print without the bird, and if you wanted more of this specific paper to add to your book. So I just wanted to show you how fun it is to design your own paper. This is on Procreate on my iPad Pro. I'm sorry, people ask me what kind of iPad it is, and I can never remember because I'm not a gadget person, but it's the newer version of the iPad Pro, if that helps at all, if you Google it. And I'm sorry, I don't know the numbers. I lose track. There's so many. But that's what I use, and it's on the Procreate program. And you can design your very, very own papers. It's just so much fun. So I hope you give it a try. I hope I taught you a couple little things to try and show you how fun it is to build layers after layer after layer. And really play with the drawing. Have fun with the drawing. Like I said, be fearless, because there's really, you're just learning new things as you go and playing with it. You can erase it, you can manipulate it. It's just about exposure to the program and just giving your drawing skills a chance. And you can simplify it if you like the cartoon look, if you like the sketchy look, if you like the realistic look. The possibilities are endless on this program. So I hope this gave you some ideas, and if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please do. I'd love to see you again, and have a great day, guys. Bye.